All right, folks. So, welcome to Talk with Taj, the St. Mary's Holly Springs edition. So, yesterday on Talk with Taj, which perhaps many of you all did not hear, as I wanted you to hear, we talked about an issue here in Holly Springs, North Carolina, a community called St. Mary's. And in this community, what is happening is a family who's been on land for 100 years.
Oh, they've been in this area within a 10-mile. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Hello.
This is my friend Gabrielle. Gabrielle, say hey.
Hi.
And welcome to Talk with Taj on
Thank
TajTalk.com. Why don't you tell the story?
Sure. So my name is Gabrielle, and I guess I'm looking here. So this is a project affiliated with the Complete 540 Project, which is reaching out through Holly Springs
Yes.
and beyond.
Yes.
We are going to be affected by a road widening project, which is a sub-project of the Complete 540 project, which means the 2 lanes in front of my home right there will be turned into a 7-lane expressway with the median. And in the process, several of my elders who have been in their homes for over 60 years and in this area for their whole lives and their parents' lives and their parents' lives
And their parents'
and
lives.
their parents'
That's right.
lives.
That's right.
They're going to be displaced in the process. And
So part of that is that they're used to paying what? Taxes and utilities.
yeah. So the situation here is my people have paid off their homes long, long ago, and they pay taxes and utilities. And we have somewhat of a system, especially for my Uncle Lynn and Aunt Laura, who live right across from us. I can see their home right now. Okay. Uncle Lynn. But yeah, they've been in the area for a long time, and they have a system where Miss Beulah, who lives behind them, myself, Wade and Netta, my Uncle Andrew, everybody communicates and looks out for one another when people really need one another. And so for Uncle Lynn and Aunt Laura, that might look like just picking up nabs and a drink. That might look like just stopping by or picking up medication or whatever the needs may be. But because we live within such close proximity, that's feasible and it's easy. But they're now going to have to move out of Holly Springs potentially, and that's going to make it very difficult for 2 people who don't drive, who are in their 80s.
And so as we're here and we're getting the stories, you can see I'm here live and remote and doing both sound and audio. But fortunately, I have a film student, not student, she's a professional. And so she's helped me with this. So this is why we are doing it like this, because we had to come here and tell that story. So what's going to happen if this goes through?
Well, let's just back it up
Okay,
just a little
please
bit.
do.
Just for some context, right now we are in the backyard of
It's
my
a beautiful
grandparents'
backyard
home.
too, folks.
And this is a house that my grandparents purchased together. My mother was raised here. I was raised here. We're right in front of the shed that I am converting into a smokehouse because a part of my work is to preserve our history
That's
in
right.
different ways.
That's
And so I consider myself a cultural preservationist. And sometimes that looks like filmmaking, and other times that looks like textile design, and other times that looks like cooking. And so in order to kind of preserve some of the stories and the history that happened, especially here, I moved back home from New York, where I've been for 7 years, and prior to that, San Francisco. And I think stepping away allowed me to really see some of the beauty that I grew up in and had access to. And so that's what I'm here doing. And I'm just one of the many people doing this type of work around here. I'm learning from my elders. My Uncle Andrew, my grandfather's brother, is one of my family members being displaced. He farms this land out here. So he's the one who taught me how to grow food. He's the one keeping the stories and passing those things on. And he's now being removed from this area along with others.
And since you mentioned that, you gave me a clip of a wonderful documentary, Tall Grass, is it? And we're gonna make that available on TajTalk.com, because that, in about 6 minutes and 37 seconds, if I remember correctly, that shows the flavor, that shows the history, that shows the hands in the dirt, that shows the collars in the pot being cooked the right way, not the wrong way. And it shows the history, and it shows the genius that if we're not careful as our elders make their transition, then we're going to lose that genius within them, because it's really the homeopathic medicine. It's really the knowing how to plant with the seasons, how to plant the correct crops together, not monoculture style, but how to crop rotate so that you're taking care of the soil, so that you're giving the best optimal nutrients to what you're growing. And you don't have to go to class to do that. I took classes on that, but my granny had me in the garden. My Grandma Hall on my dad's side had us out getting worms and putting in her garden. And so these are skills that are innate and intrinsic within us. Lest we forget, they become atrophied and at some point dissipate. So tell them where they can find right now Tall Grass, as we talk off air about building our Black African American farmers film network that we want to do for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, so a little piece of that. So I started this project. It's an oral history project. And so because we learn these things through the acts themselves, through doing them.
Immersion learning, I call it.
Right. I wanted to make sure that I'm like capturing those moments. So that actually was not intended to be a part of a documentary series or a project necessarily. That was footage from my phone that I've been recording for a few years now. Every time I would come home and there was something in the garden and I was learning something new, I would just pull my phone out.
You guys need to check this out, because now that you tell me it's a phone, and with the editing that you put with it and the music you put with it.
That music is by my friend Samo. You can find him Samo Music on Instagram.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That track slamming.
Isn't it perfect?
Yeah,
so he embodies this, right? He is just the living embodiment of a lot of our history and the brilliance and the genius that comes from North Carolina. He's from Wilson, North Carolina. And I knew that that would be perfect because of not just the words, but there's something in that twang.
In that twang, and then that funk rhythm he's laying down with that backbeat
funk.
And all that. You know what I'm saying?
It was beautiful, right?
Yeah, that country southern funk. You know what I'm saying? It's
a
nice.
Special thing.
And so now that you say that, I'm gonna talk a little bit about how we got this garden gold thing on TajTalk.com, where local farmer right outside of Pittsburgh, Chatham County, on the border of Sanford and of Lee County and Chatham County. We found someone did something similar, and I used a friend of mine's music, the Sunsetters. Big up Derek McDonald and Jose Pasquini for allowing me to use their music as well.
This is my granddaddy.
Oh, well, bring him in.
Mr. Mayfield Woodard.
You want to interview him? And he can sit in my seat.
Go, come.
Oh, yes, sir. All you got to do is sit right here. That's right.
Wait. Pop, come here, please.
That's the star of her documentary.
Here,
that's right.
No,
Here,
this
come
is
on.
his brother. So he's one of the many reasons that I decided to do the work that I'm doing. But come on, Pop. Right, you got to come here so you can be in the frame. You're not. I just want them to see you.
You don't even have to talk to me.
I just want them to see you. You don't have to say. No, they can't see you.
Here, say hello.
Pop, will you say hey?
Come on, have a seat.
I've been in my shop. Who's been in my shop?
I was in there, my fault. There you go.
That was me.
Ooh,
hey, Pop.
oh.
So everybody, this is my grandfather, Mayfield Woodard. He's leaned all the way back. Will you be able to?
I'll check the camera in the shot.
I didn't plan on interviewing you today, but I just want to take a moment to say he's the reason that I'm doing the work that I'm doing, and that a lot of people around here are able to do the work that they're doing. His shop, which is located right behind our house, is a business that he and my grandmother ran for many years, and he was an incubator for other Black businesses to grow and to become. And so he mentored a lot of men in this area. Every time I see somebody stop by the shop or roll by, they always talk about Pop. just the other day. Who was that who came by? Was it Mike? What's his name? Steve. Yeah, pulled me to the side, and Mr. Steve Dockery talked about how he mentored Steve and, you know, all the businesses and things that were able to exist because of the shop, because of Pop Woodard Repairs, and because of Mayfield Woodard. So, I mean, it's not many times that you get an opportunity to be with your elders and really learn something and spend some time and listen. I spent a lot of my life not listening, and it just feels good to be able to come home and be able to listen and really soak something up, and to build intergenerational bonds and also business, because we're using Pop's shop now as a theater to screen films and do other creative things. Pop, would you like to say anything?
I got nothing to say.
Okay. Do you have anything to say about the road that's coming through?
No, I don't know what to say about it, so I ain't got nothing to say about it. I don't know exactly the details yet, so I can't talk until I find out the real details going on.
You want to share about your dad for a second?
No.
Come on, Pop.
What about,
You know
what
what?
about my dad?
Well, he was also an entrepreneur, and that's where you got it from. He had a juke joint on this very land. Come on now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had a juke joint, I juked all I wanted to juke.
Okay, well, there we go. Thank you, Pop.
That's enough.
That's enough. Pop is 83 and living his best life. Just came back from golfing, I'm assuming.
Everything I wanted.
Yes.
But I don't want to do nothing.
Okay. Bye, Pop. Right? Yeah. Okay, we'll get that done, Pop. See you later.
So we got the elder who stopped in with
So
us.
he's
right
the
on
one who
time.
showed me how to do this too, which is drying seeds for your next season. When
Nice.
to pull them from the ground, and how to hang them so that they keep their nutrients, and then seed keeping.
So I'm going to say this to anyone from the DOT who may be watching to come across this. So when you take land from people, you take this history. You take what is a part of people's soul. You find a different place to make your road, promise me, but you cannot grow this. This is organic growth. This is generational growth. To build up some houses and a road is nowhere near the treasure which sits right here. So shame on you. I have a segment on Talk with Taj called Shame on You. And so I'm going to
This is a
say
shame on you
DOT,
moment.
shame on y'all.
Yeah, and we're
Shame on you.
definitely not the only community that this is happening
That's right.
to.
That's right.
Constantly stuff is being erased, and when you erase the land, you're able to erase the culture and the acts themselves.
That's
Because
right.
if we don't have land to grow on, then, you know, that becomes lost knowledge.
That's right. So it's like the soil has the same alliteration as the soul. So when your soil and your soul become one and you try and erase that, you affect the people's soul to the core. And that is wrong, I must say.
Yeah. Beyond wrong, I think just, you know, there's a lot of policy and there are a lot of laws that are in place that make things like this very easy. And there's no laws to protect our elders
That's
from
right.
this.
And we were talking offline that sometimes the laws are so convoluted that it's just enough to discourage people and make them throw their hands and give up, almost as though it's done on purpose.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
You're
I think I'm
silly.
supposed to say the word allegedly when I say stuff like that.
No,
according to-
absolutely. I mean, we know that like our most vulnerable are our elders. They're on fixed incomes in many situations. That's the situation here where you have a community of people who have worked their whole lives. Actually, a community that came from sharecropping to become owners.
That's right.
And some first-time owners.
That's right.
And then to take that and potentially put them in homes or apartments.
And when we talk about the history, so you know when home purchasing and the FHA first got started, they were redlining then so that some folks, regardless how poor you were able to get VA loans, FHA loans, and so that house that maybe in 1941 that was purchased for $17,000 on 8 acres. But when you pass that on generationally, and now that grows value, so you're growing value throughout your generations.
Yeah.
And so that happened unfairly in our community where we weren't able to do that. So here is an opportunity to pass on generational wealth and cut off at its head. And that is when you start talking about pulling oneself up by one's bootstrap. Well, part of that is passing on generational wealth in dollars and
In
in land and in
Oh my
knowledge. And so
God.
here's that being cut off right there. So then the generational wealth that's been built, the equity that's been built, gets taken away. Shame on you. Sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
we
I'm gonna
went
keep
back to
saying
shame.
that. Yeah, we did.
Shame on you.
Let's talk about Wilmington on Fire.
Okay.
Tell us about it. Tell them about it.
Well, June 8th, we'll be screening Wilmington on Fire, which a friend of mine, Chris Everett, he's the director. He's an awesome. That felt like I was name dropping. I'm sorry,
No,
y'all.
name
My
drop,
friend, Chris Everett.
That's right.
No,
He's my
he's
friend
going to
too. I don't
come.
even know.
Yes, he's all y'all's friends. Trust me, because he's getting the knowledge where it needs to be. And so he's going to come and he's going to bring the film with him, and we're going to screen inside of my grandfather's shop.
Can TajTalk.com come and hang out? And
Absolutely.
maybe we can live stream from there and interview him.
Yeah, because there will also be a panel after the film. And
Hello.
so I'm pulling together the panel right now.
We'll be live streaming that panel as well.
It looks like it'll be live stream.
What time will it be?
The film is at 6 p.m. The event is on Eventbrite right now.
Yep.
We're asking for a suggested donation, but
That's
if you
right.
don't have it, just come.
And
But
it's
do
posted on
RSVP.
TajTalk.com as well.
Yes, and so $10 suggested donation.
Oh, great.
But-
and so it chronicles Wilmington Fire Chronicles. What is that? Yeah.
Black land loss, black erasure, a massacre, death, trauma, all of the things.
And that happened how long ago?
Ooh, has it been 100?
I'd say 100 years. And so that should have been stopped, and we should be progressing, moving forward. We shouldn't be dealing with the same
Oh,
issues in the
no.
21st century. Whole nother conversation altogether.
That's
Is that what it
popping
is?
the rollback. He
82
built
years
that.
old?
He built the rollback, the bed for
Nice,
it. That's
nice.
just what he does.
And he's 82?
83.
83? And he's
Yeah.
fit. I mean, he's fit like he's ready to
Oh,
go.
he doesn't play.
I can see that.
He doesn't play.
So this is the beginning of a series that TajTalk.com and Talk with Taj will continue to follow as this moves forward. And if there are any attorneys out there, anyone who's ever dealt with this, where there's a possibility that these folks can keep their land, how can people get in touch with you or the project?
We have a Facebook page, Secure St. Mary's. Also, you can reach me through Facebook. It's on my page, Gabrielle Etienne, EITIENNE. I'm sure it'll be in text somewhere on your page.
And it'll be it'll be on TajTalk.com. You can always hit me up at Aaron@TajTalk.com. Taj at TajTalk.com. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on the Messenger if you want more information about this. If you want to give to Wilmington on Fire, if you want to give to help with lawyer fees and all those things, or you have information on how to stop the process, you know how to find me. All right.
Yeah.
So our motto here is: we discuss, we define, and we deliver on
Okay.
TajTalk.com. So we've discussed the problem. We've defined what it is. We hope to be a part of delivering a solution. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Definitely. I just, before you came, was talking to Sydney Batch, which is one of our state representatives, and she's really interested in maybe like talking with us again. So maybe that can be a
If we could
follow-up
get, like,
discussion.
Governors, Roy Cooper, or, I had the opportunity to interview Josh Stein, our Attorney General, if you're listening. Yeah, we need you heavy hitters to jump in on this and weigh in on this as well. And if you don't, it's okay. We'll do the organic thing, and we'll come power in numbers and do what we can.
Yeah.
Anything
yeah.
else we need to say?
Well, I don't know. Let's work together to make sure we're able to pass down our history through the acts.
Agreed. So this is not the last time we'll be having this conversation about the St. Mary's community here in Holly Springs. It will be continued, and we will do all we can to help the folks here maintain their land, their history, their family, and that's what we got.
Yeah.
This is Gabrielle Etienne, and I appreciate you so much for letting me come down here, hang out here, bring my stuff, set up outside.
Yeah.
She gave me this, I don't know, I think I drank it all,
I think you did.
but it was a wonderful lemonade
He
made from the
guzzled
made from the garden.
Yeah, so it was a pot liquor.
Pot liquor,
Which-
no alcohol though.
No,
Different
pot
different
liquor.
kind of liquor.
You know, pot liquor is the water that comes off your greens.
Sure.
But we didn't use greens because those aren't in season right now. I use fennel from the garden and
Tastes
some
great.
cinnamon sticks
great.
and some parsley and a few other herbs.
A few other herbs. So, ToshTalk.com, discuss, define, deliver. Share the stream, share this information, and I think we're gonna go have some lunch now. I'm gonna go pick something out of this garden and see what I can have, a little raw lunch for the day. So share this information. My name's Aaron Hall, ToshTalk.com, Gabrielle Etienne. We discuss, we define, we deliver. You know what I say, peace, love, power, every minute and every hour. May the Most High bless you and keep you. I'm Hall out of time. I'll see you when I see you. Peace. Bye, Gabrielle.
Thank you, Aaron.